guys, this is Stormouse03.
And I'm Praetorian.
Welcome to Ramblings of Mad People, December and Year's End of 2023 edition. It's been a crazy year.
It really has.
We have played so much, done so much, and so we're going to try to talk about and touch on everything, at least briefly, that we have accomplished over this year. But we'll start with December. So December was kind of a crazy month. Anybody who was following my 12 days of Christmas challenge knows that I played a lot of games in December, and so did you.
I did. You kind of spurred me on to do way too much. I also had plans.
Yeah, so I did those 12 platinums, plus 3 more after that, for a total of 15 platinums this December, and I'm just gonna list out the games that I played. So, you know, the 12 that were for the challenge were Maquette, Rime, Arise, A Simple Story, Call of the Sea, AER Memories of Old, Erica, Toem, Burly Men at Sea, Dronjen Dungeons of Ink and Paper, What Remains of Edith Finch, Spyro the Dragon, and We Were Here Expeditions, The Friendship, which we did together. And then after that, I did Candle, The Power of the Flame, A Way Out, and It Takes Two.
Very nice.
With you. So.
Yes.
You did more than me.
Yeah, I did 19 platinums and 3 non-platinums on PlayStation.
Yep.
Is that including your Xbox or excluding your Xbox?
That was excluding my Xbox.
Okay, so my platinums. Let me just scroll down.
They didn't all fit on one page.
Hogwarts Legacy, which I'd started before, but finished in December. Citizen Sleeper on PS5, Donut County, Submerged Hidden Depths, Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was my 4,500th trophy. That's the platinum. Day of the Tentacle Remastered, Venba, What Remains of Edith Finch, Burly Men at Sea, Grease, Call of the Sea, The Last Campfire, Sea of Solitude, Marquette, Creature in the Well, Tinykin, We Were Here Expeditions to Friendship, A Way Out, and It Takes Two.
So, a really crazy month for PlayStation for both of us.
Yeah.
A lot of those obviously were shorties, and the couple of longer ones that you finished, you had done the majority of before December, is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, Rise of the Tomb Raider, I only had 2 trophies left, which was to finish the game on Survival and then the Plat. And then Hogwarts Legacy, I did, like, over half in December.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
So.
Nice. And I did the majority of Hogwarts Legacy in the end of November, December. But I didn't quite get it finished before the end of the year. So.
I mean, I sabotaged you with co-op games, so it's
yeah. So I ended up doing A Way Out and It Takes Two instead of finishing up Hogwarts. But that's okay. It was my first game of the new year. So that's all good. So how did it feel doing all those games in December?
Well, I did 11 plats in 7 days, which I would never do again because it's just so much pressure.
Yeah.
So the reason why I did so many is I wanted Demon's Souls to be my 100th platinum, and I was at 85 when I completed Rise of the Tomb Raider, and we got Demon Souls on sale over the like holiday period, and so I really wanted to play it. And you were doing your 12 Days of Christmas challenge, and I was like, I have some shorties that I could do. Why don't I do something similar, but in my own, like, you know, my own slant on it, which was to hammer games very quickly, which is what I do sometimes, so that I could get to 99 and then we could play Demon Souls.
Right, at the beginning of the new year.
Yes, like in January, be at a position where we could play. And so that's what I did.
Yeah, and you know, and I had been wanting to do the like 12 days challenge for a few months, you know, so I had been kind of building up for it and looking forward to it. And so, you know, but it's a lot all at once, and you just feel like it's game, and it makes your statistics look really good. You know, it's a nice way to bulk up your glut of trophies and platinums and that sort of thing, but it is a little bit maddening to do things that fast. At least for me, it felt that way.
I forgot to say that my 3 games that I did that didn't have platinums was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, Another World 20th Anniversary Edition, and Arcaica: The Path of Light.
Nice. Very cool. Did you find that you enjoyed the games that you played?
The vast majority, yeah. There was a few like sticking points on a couple of them. Like Creature in the Well, there was a particular boss I got stuck on for like an hour. But other than that game I enjoyed. I'd played it before on Xbox. And then Marquette, I struggled with some of the speed runs. With the mechanics just weren't quite up to task in certain areas. It would kind of glitch you around.
Yeah, no, I found the same for that game, but I still enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I liked pretty much everything that I played to some degree or another, right? You know, everything. I don't think there's anything that I played this month that I absolutely wouldn't do again. So. No,
I agree. And a lot of them we had, I'd say at least 50% of the ones that I did, I'd played before.
Yeah, and most of the ones that I played were new to me, so.
Yeah, you wanted to do it that way, whereas I felt like I wanted to do games that A, I knew I would enjoy, and B, I knew that I could complete in a reasonable amount of time.
Right, yeah.
It has taught me one thing, and this is something I'm hoping to do more this year. Don't care about completion time on games, just play the game, enjoy yourself, and complete it as and when you complete it.
Right.
Because looking at a game and going, oh, this game says that it should take 1 to 2 hours and it's taken me 8, and then you feel like, oh, I've wasted my time. But you enjoyed the game.
Right.
But there's always that, like, little part of your brain that's saying, oh, I could do it as quick as other people. I should be able to do it as quick as other people. But it's like they probably skipped all the cutscenes.
Right.
And didn't even, like, enjoy the game.
Right. Or if it's like a puzzle game, they just looked up all the answers to all the puzzles.
Exactly.
And didn't solve any of them. And to me, that it negates the fun of the game unless you've played it before, right? And it's something where you're just like, I just want to speed through this as quickly as possible, and that's the fun of it, right? Is the
I did a little of that with Arcaica, where I did about 80% of the game, like, remembering what to do, and then I maybe looked up like 20% when I got stuck for more than like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've done this before. It's fine. I'll move on.
Yeah.
Rather than doing what I did before, spending like hours on a level.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they can be a bit
sometimes with
confusing.
puzzles, you just hit one that your brain doesn't compute with, right? Yeah. Like you just aren't seeing what you're meant to see to be able to solve it. And that's not a detriment to anybody's intelligence, I don't think. I think it's just sometimes certain things, it clicks with us and it makes sense and we get it. And other things, it's like some piece of it just doesn't fit for you. And so you are stuck with it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, so there was a lot of platinums and quick, but it was, I think, fun in terms of it was just for that month and we kind of hammered and now, you know, we're taking it easy a little bit more.
Yeah.
I did one game on Xbox and that was Toem again. And I finished it because I really liked it and it was on Games Pass. And so I was like, I'll just play it again. And I finished it at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st.
That's funny.
At the end, I was like, can I finish this year? Oh my gosh.
I remember you sending me a message of like, I got it at 11:59.
Because on Xbox, it doesn't separate out the DLC like it does on PlayStation. So all of that is included in the 1000G. So it was like after I finished the main game, I had to do the DLC as well, which is fine because I enjoyed it. But it was that extra like hour, you know, of content, and I'm like, can I get it done? Can I get it done? And there was a moment where I thought that one of the achievements glitched, like it didn't pop when it should have. And so I was like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to finish it. I'm going to have to go back and replay the thing and delete my save data. But it ended up popping a little bit later, thankfully. And so I didn't have to do that. And so I did get it done. So that was my last game of 2023.
So the only Xbox game I played in December, and it wasn't a full game, it was just finishing the DLCs for Phoenix Rising. Mm-hmm. So I had the 100% done. Mm-hmm. They were okay. Like, they weren't the worst DLCs I've played, but I was also like, I don't feel like I actually needed this, but...
No, you certainly didn't seem like you were enjoying it when we talked while you were playing it. You were just ready for it to be over, I think.
Yeah, it just got to the point where I'd done the really tedious DLC, or the challenge mode one first, and I was like, can I be done now? And also, like, one of the modes was some kind of dungeon crawler view, but it was still the same kind of game. It was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Where it was like sometimes trying to like figure out how to traverse the terrain with that angle view was annoying. And it didn't feel like they'd thought it through properly.
Because you couldn't see where you were going.
Exactly.
I remember that.
And then the second DLC was like Chinese mythology, but it only had like 2 gods in it. And I don't know, it just felt like maybe they were seeing if there would be interest in other mythologies to maybe do in later games, but I think Phoenix's sequel has been cancelled at this point.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, because I think that they had a good game, at least the base game was enjoyable, and they had something there, but I guess it just wasn't successful enough for them.
I think the problem is it's another Ubisoft title where it's just the DLCs just kind of ruin the experience.
Yeah. And the tedious collectathon of the map and trying to go around and do every little thing.
Yeah, I didn't find that too bad.
Yeah.
In Phoenix, because I felt, I don't know, like it didn't take me anywhere near as long as like Valhalla or Far Cry.
That's fair. Yeah, it's funny.
But that's my personal like.
Sure, it's funny how perspectives are though, right? Because it's like we now have these crazy long collectible slogs to compare things to, and everything else feels a little bit better in comparison.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like, you know, we've had all our fingernails pulled out while doing Valhalla, and so, you know, only having one pulled out seems fine.
Right? I don't know. It just feels like maybe it speaks to cycles of abuse or something.
We've got Stockholm syndrome. I don't think that quite works for what we're going for, but it's like, you know, we've got like conditioned therapy.
Yeah, we've habituated to the pain, and so
of like, okay, this is just a moderate amount of pain.
Don't
that's
seem
fine.
as bad. It's crazy.
But yeah, December was crazy.
So
and
that
will
was
not be happening again, probably.
Yeah, so that was December. So year overall, how was your 2023 for gaming?
Best year ever.
Best year ever. Confetti cannons.
By numbers.
Yeah.
So, PlayStation. I got 18,000. No, that's my total on Xbox. 1,832 trophies. I completed 49 games. 44 had plats, 5 did not. And then on Xbox, I got 880 achievements, 25,260 gamer score, and 25 100%. The only game I played in 2023 that I didn't complete was Sleeping Dogs, because I used that for a couple of challenges and to like level out my trophies so that I could hit the milestones that I wanted without having to worry about trying to find a game to plat that had that exact number and etc. Total wise, I got 2,712 achievements and trophies combined, which is the most that I've ever got. And I got 74 completed games, which is greater than any I've got before by a margin.
Yeah.
I think it's like 7.
Yeah, in a single year.
In a single year.
And that was a long time ago that you're comparing it to, right? Like 2015, 2016?
Well, 2015 is the one with the most like trophies and achievements. Mm-hmm. It had like 2,600 and something. But like by completed games, I think 2022 was my most, because I was doing Xbox and PlayStation. And so with the two combined, it was like 60 something completed games.
Nice.
But this one has topped both of those, and so this is like the year to beat, which I don't want to do. Like, I'm quite happy with 2023 being mad. One stat that makes me laugh is I had 10 plats by the end of August of 2023, and then I got 34 platinums between September and December.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, half of those were in December, but...
Yeah, and 1,100, like 1,100 trophies in that time.
Yeah. Insanity.
And I'm like close to 4,500 now.
Yeah.
How was your year?
So my year was hands down the best year of gaming that I've ever had by the numbers, because I think the most completed games total between both consoles that I'd ever done was like around 40. It was like 45 or something like that. And this year combined, it was 73 games completed.
73. So between the two of us, we almost got 150 games.
Yeah. So on PlayStation, I completed 40 games, and 37 of those had platinums, so 3 didn't. And I earned, you'll like this number, both of my trophy and achievement counts are kind of fun. So 1414 trophies, 1,414
Nice.
trophies. And and again, like a lot of those did come in December, but I was pretty consistent throughout the year, and then had that big jump in December to have a nice number to finish off the year. And then on Xbox, I did 900 exactly achievements. And for 30,610 gamer score and 33 completed games. And
so
now
you beat me on Xbox.
I did.
Like in all regards, which is good.
And a couple of those games that I completed were just the last few achievements. So I did finish the last achievement in Limbo and the last achievement in Titanfall 2 to get those games finished, which was really nice. So yeah, all in all, it was just a banger of a year for us. We did a lot of stuff. How do you feel about the games that you played?
I would say I enjoyed the vast majority of them. I don't think that there were any like real bads on the list this year, but I did play a lot of dupes.
Yeah,
like I did play several games 3 times in a year. And by a couple,
yeah,
and then another few I played like twice. So I think it stands to like I played some games I really liked because then I went on and played them another 2 times.
yeah,
And so I felt like it was a good year. I didn't really play any like games that I feel broke my top 10, top 5. Maybe. But that's something we'll talk about
in a minute. Yeah,
in a minute.
It's I mean, I played a lot of games that I had played before, but I did play, I guess over half of the games that I played were new to me, because I counted them up as I was trying to look at doing this recap, and there were 40. So 40 out of the 73 games that I completed were things that I hadn't played before. So,
whereas less than half of mine were ones that I haven't played before.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I've played it and then I play it twice, that's a game I've already played.
Yeah. Yeah. So, now it is time, where we talk about our favorite new games to us. So, not necessarily games that released this year, but games that we played this year that we'd never played before. Our top games of the year.
Yep.
And so we both tried to whittle down our list a little bit, to a top 5, but we both picked out some honorable mentions that we wanted to list out.
So my first honorable mention is the Untitled Goose Game. It was fun. It was irreverent. Being able to honk at people was great. It had speedruns that were not obnoxious, and the art style was good, and the music was good. It was just a fun little honk game.
Yes, indeed. That was at the end of my list as well, so that was an honorable mention for me too. It's just so different, than other things. Just, I guess, because it's a goose and I don't know, it just feels like a very different game. So, very cool. The next honorable mention that I had is Spyro the Dragon. So, this is a game that we played kind of together. So, you guided
I was your
me.
Sherpa.
Yes, you guided me through it. And
Actually, I guess it was more like your Rob Nav.
Yeah. it was one that I did for the 12 days, and it's really cute, and I think you were worried that I didn't like it as much. But it was more the pressure of trying to get it done quickly, I think, that caused.
I think it was one of the longer games that you were doing, and so.
Yeah, it was, but I did really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to playing the next.
And I mean, I also messed up the not needing to collect everything to unlock the final level, which made me feel bad about that whole shenanigan. But anyway.
It was what it was, but overall, I did really enjoy playing it, and playing it without the nostalgia of it, I still think it was a really fun game.
That's good. I'm glad, because that was like my childhood.
Yeah.
My next honorable mention is Astro's Playroom, which was the first PS5 Platinum that I got. Mm-hmm. It's just a nice little love letter to PlayStation. Lots of little Easter eggs and hints, and it shows you what the DualSense controller can do. But really, it feels like the only game that showcases what the DualSense can do to the 100% degree. Right. I will say this: I don't like the DualSense triggers with the resistance, so that's something that I have turned off on my controller, and I think you've done the same.
Yes.
Just because we were struggling with it, and
I don't like. I agree with you. I don't like it. It just feels. It just doesn't feel right. It feels too resistant, and I don't know. I feel like it's giving me worse arthritis.
Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to break the controller because I'm pushing so hard to try and get it to move.
Try and get it to do the things that you want it to do. But Astro's Playroom I also played this year, and it was a really cute, fun little title.
Nice. What was your next?
My next honorable mention for this year is probably gonna get some flack from someone, but it's God of War 2018. that's not in my top 5. And
boy,
it's I love Chris Judge as Kratos. I just love him. and so hearing him do Kratos's voice was awesome. I really enjoyed the game. I just think it, for me personally, wasn't something that I personally connected with as much as some of the other things that I played this year. And so while I do think it's a really good game, and probably objectively is better than some of the things that I have as my top 5, it just wasn't something that stuck with me as much as some of these other things that I'm going to mention. So that's why it's an honorable mention. It's a great game. The graphics are fantastic. The story's great. The voice acting's really good. The combat is good. It's a good game. It's not something that for me personally is one of my top things.
Yeah, and I think that goes for me, is I rate these on how they feel to me. Mm-hmm. So something that I give 5 out of 5, someone else might give a 3, but it's my experience was I thought this game was great, I'm going to rate it that way. Whereas something and I use this as an example all the time, Bloodborne, it's a great game for people who like that game. I would never say it's trash, but to me, I didn't enjoy the experience. I don't like the setting. It's got too much blood in it. And so it's a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I think people shouldn't like that game. It's just, for me personally, that wasn't a great experience. Right. And so that's why I rate it lower than other people would. And God of War for you was a good experience, but it wasn't as high on your this is great.
Yeah.
O-meter.
It's God of War 2018, miles for me above God of War 3, right? I really enjoyed the story a lot more than I liked God of War 3, and so I'm looking forward to Ragnarok. I'm into the series for sure, but I think it's that father-son connection thing, you know, that just, it's not something that's personal for me, that, you know, I think maybe more personal for someone who is a father or someone who is a son, you know. I think that might hit for people differently depending on who they are and their experiences, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought it was a really great game, but not one of my top for this year.
So my last honourable mention is A Plague Tale: Innocence, which I did twice this year. It's just a really great game. It just suffers from there being too many collectibles. Like, I like the setting, the story's really good, the mechanics work really well, but it's just, there's too many things to keep track of. I know there's chapter select to go back and grab everything, but I do try and like to go through a game and do it all in one run. And so, to me, it just had a few too many things to pick up, and some of them were quite well hidden too.
Yeah.
So if I'd have just been trying to run through the game and get them, then I would have missed some for sure.
Yeah. That's interesting, because like you say that, and similarly to how you felt about Phoenix, right? Like, I didn't feel like there were too many, like, that's not how I remember that experience, is like, it felt like there were too many collectibles. And so it's just that's just another example of personal preference and personal perceptions of things, right?
Yeah, I think, like, Phoenix for me, it's everything's available, and so I can just run somewhere and get it. Whereas, like, A Plague Tale, it's like I need to reload a checkpoint and then play through all this entire section that I've already done, that I can't really skip, to get to the one thing I've missed 70% of the way through the level.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is very different from, you know, oh, it's on the map here and I just have to go grab it.
Yeah.
So,
but that's my
yep,
that's my experience.
Totally fair. And my last honorable mention is Signalis. This is a little survival horror game. It felt very old school. The story of it was very weird, but I really liked it for the kind of old school survival horror feel. It was just my jam, and so that was just shy of my top 5 for this year.
So I will say for my honourable mentions, like Untitled Goose Game and Astro's Playroom are like a 4 out of 5, and Plague Tale is 4.5 out of 5, and so, like, my number 5 is also a 4.5, but it's just that little bit.
Yeah, it's just that little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I would say for sure all of those games are 4 to 4.5 out of 5 for me as well. So, yep, all very good. It was tough, actually, ranking this list. So, what is your number 5 game that you played this year?
So my number 5 game is Tinykin, which gave me such, like, Banjo-Kazooie, ukulele, Super Mario vibes to it. It's just like nostalgia fest of, this is just fun, it's simple, the story was good, the levels were interesting because it's different, like, rooms in the house that you need to go to. And what I really liked is you can complete every level to 100% before you move on to the next. And so I didn't have to backtrack with different abilities to, you know, finish off a bit that I'd missed. And the Tinykin are cute. They're kind of like Pikmin as well. It was just really, it felt like an older style game. And it's just like, it's my childhood of running around levels, picking everything up, figuring out how do I get to this platform or that platform. And yes, that had a bunch of collectibles in it as well, but that's the whole game. It's a collectathon. It's literally
Yeah.
what you do, and so it doesn't annoy me or grind my gears as much as some other collectible things because it's what the game is built to be.
For sure. It's different because it feels like the collectibles are part of the game rather than something extra that's added in that you have to do that takes you out of the game.
Yeah, that's a good assessment because like you need to collect the pollen to be able to upgrade your like glide ability. It's like a bubble thing that enables you to jump further distances. And so it was actually, these are useful to you.
Yes. Nice.
But yeah, I really like that game. I played it 3 times.
So, and by the 3rd time you weren't sick of it, so
No,
that's
I wasn't.
That's a good
I would do it
sign.
again.
Yep. That is a good sign.
What was your number 5?
Number 5 for me probably isn't surprising given how much I gushed about this just recently, but it is Toem. So I don't know exactly what it is about this game that warms my heart so much, but I just loved playing it.
It's cute.
It is cute, but I don't know, it just made me happy, like it was so different, going around and you're not killing things and you're not necessarily even, I would say it's semi-puzzle solving in the sense of, you try to figure out what the pictures are that they want you to take, but it's not like mechanical, right? There's not really mechanics to it. It's more like, okay, these people want a picture of something fuzzy. What's something fuzzy that I saw? And so you're just going around
Brutus.
the levels, kind of taking pictures of everything and going, oh, I have something fuzzy that I can show you. Look at this, and it was just so much fun to play, right? And I think I said this at the end of that gameplay wrap up when I was talking about it for my 12 days, but I think that watching it doesn't do it justice. Like the feel of playing it, I enjoyed more than I thought I would just by looking at gameplay, right?
Right.
And so
it's when you get your hands on the controller and you're in control, you immerse yourself in that world a lot more than on some games, like a lot more than someone, you're watching someone play it and you're like, yeah, that was good. And then you come to play and you're like, this is amazing.
Right, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I like the art style. I loved the music. I liked the mechanics of taking the pictures and everything. And it was just something that was nice and chill and simple.
It was almost like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, it was not stressful to play. Right, like you just run it around, and it definitely for me had that feeling of, okay, just one more picture, okay, just one more area, okay, just one more quest, I'll finish, right, and
I think that speaks to a great game for us is when it's like just one more, just a little more, just a little, because you don't want to put it down.
Yep, and then you notice that you've been doing it for another 30 minutes or another hour, right? Longer than you had planned to. So I really loved Toem.
So my number 4 is The Surge, which I played twice. I did it once on Xbox, and then I did a mad speed run, kind of, on the PlayStation version. It's a really good Souls game to me. Like, it has a bunch of different builds you can do, different armors. The mechanics work well. It has different areas, even though it's like a mechanical production facility.
Yeah.
There's enough difference in the areas for me that I felt like, oh, this is interesting. It has the right amount of challenge to the you get to a boss, you bang your head against a wall for an hour, and then you go, I think I should probably go and grind and upgrade and come back, and then you beat them in like 3 to 5 tries.
Yeah.
It's just like those difficulty spikes that you hit, like Ornstein and Smough in Dark Souls. It scratched that soul's itch for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be the fastest person to 100% it also speaks to my old, like, I want to be in the first 10 people to complete a game, which is something I don't do anymore, but I have a few of those. And it is just nice. Like, I have Dragon Age Inquisition on Xbox because I do the DLCs, so I'm one of the first 10 to get the 100% in that. I did it in Overcooked 2. I have Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Like, it's nice occasionally to, like, feel like you've still got it, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, like, okay, I'm still a decent gamer. Like, I would never say I'm the best gamer in the world and I'm amazing, but we've done some hard things.
Yeah.
And we can be proud of our achievements sometimes.
That's right. We are veterans of the gaming community.
I'm also looking forward to doing The Surge 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have for both consoles.
Very nice. Yeah, The Surge it's a really good Souls-like game. If you want something that's like Souls-like but sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's mostly melee based.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is cool, because they could have done more with guns and ranged attachments and things, but I kind of like that it was melee focused.
Yeah, I think like the only really ranged thing I remember using is the drone that you can use to fire a laser at people.
Yeah.
But it's more like a assist than actually super damaging.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, my number 4 was Cocoon. And so Cocoon is a little game. It was my favorite puzzle game that I played this year. And so I like puzzle games. It's a genre that I enjoy. And Cocoon was a really good one, and it felt like it had some fresh mechanics to it, that unlike something like Maquette that we played, were not janky. The mechanics felt good to play, so the idea of having these worlds within worlds and being able to hop in and hop out of them and manipulate one while you're inside another one. It's hard to describe without playing it, but it was really fun to play. And I liked the art style of it. I liked the just weirdness of it. It was weird without being gross, which is, I think, sometimes hard to find, right?
Yeah.
Those games that are kind of like,
they kind of
strange.
Blend sometimes.
Yeah, that are kind of like strange, but it's not a strange in a horrifying kind of a way, right? It was just sort of weird. And you're a weird sort of moth person, and you are inside of these spheres and trying to go around and find different creatures that you're setting free. And the story is odd. it's just more progression than it is narrative, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. I liked the puzzles, I liked the mechanics, I had a good time with it. And so I definitely want to play it again on PlayStation when it's on a good sale.
Nice. My number 3 is Cyberpunk 2077.
Woohoo.
I really like the setting. I really like the main story. It has some really good side quests. It has some really good characters. It has good music. It has a bunch of different builds that you can do. It was just a really great game that suffered from a very poor release. And open world syndrome. It had far too many cut and paste activities that you needed to do for the platinum, and so that's why it's just that not quite breaking into the top two for me. Because I feel like I've talked about Cyberpunk a lot over the year, and so you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, it overall it sounds like you really enjoyed it. It's just that it's the platinum experience or the completion experience drags it down a little bit because of all the grindy stuff that you have to do.
And I do find it funny that they give you access to a bunch of different vehicles to use and buy and stuff. The only vehicle I used the entire game is someone's motorcycle.
Yeah, I tried out a few of them, and that was the one that I ended up liking the best anyway.
Yeah, I just was like, this is easiest. I'm using this.
Yeah. Say a little bit about the 2.0 update. You know, like because you said earlier that it felt like a 50% different game. Is that for the better? Like, do you think that?
I would say
are good?
I think the changes that they made were better. The upgrade system's overhauled. The skill system is overhauled. So there's a lot less, like... It makes a lot of the trophies that were missable not missable. Because you can, like, reallocate your stats at least once or twice. It might be once. But as long as you don't do that unless you need to, you'll be fine. It made it so that, like, as you progress through the game, it, like, opens up more tiers as you level up rather than being everything available. So I feel like you earn those better abilities as you go through rather than being super overpowered early with certain builds. They put a console in so that you can buy the vehicles off the console and don't have to drive around the entire map going, I'm going to buy this car, but it's in the middle of the desert. Guess I'm going on a road trip.
That's nice.
I think a lot of there was a lot of bug fixes. It just felt like a far better experience.
Nice. And I'm glad that they took the time and initiative to do those fixes because, they didn't have to.
Yeah. It was like, and they also released the DLC as well as the update. And then, like, Cyberpunk won the ongoing Game Award at the Game Awards because, yes, they released a game that was broken. They worked on the game. They got it to a good playable level. And then they gave another free update and a DLC. So the DLC is not free, but it's more content. And so I was like, I still feel like that should... It was good that they won it because it shows that they put the effort in.
Right.
And that people cared that they put the effort in. Right.
It's what we want people to do, right? It's like if you release something that's buggy to begin with, we shouldn't just, flay you alive and burn the game forever. It's like, it's nice when you go back and you go, okay, this is not what we wanted to release. Let's make it better. And then actually do that. And put the time and the money and the effort behind it instead of, just scorched earth. We'll start again with the next thing. Right? So, yeah, no, I totally agree that it's good. It's good that they got some kudos for that. So, good deal. My number 3 was Hogwarts Legacy. So I didn't quite finish this game up in 2023, but I played the vast majority of it in 2023 and have since finished it.
Hey.
And I just had a lot of fun with it. It was like, it's magical, right? It's like going into the magical world and learning spells and attending your classes and stuff. It definitely wasn't a perfect game. There are some things that I would change about it. I would have preferred there to have been a little bit more of a focus on actually attending school and that sort of thing. But for what was there, I thought that they told a really interesting story within the Harry Potter universe. I think that they have really, really solid core gameplay mechanics that I think they could really do a lot with in future games if they choose to. And I enjoyed the story of it, and I thought that the end sequence was really good. I think a lot of games do not stick that landing. You know, you play it for, 30, 40, 60, 80, 100 hours, and then the ending is just kind of like all the air coming out of a balloon.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say one thing. Hogwarts might have got into my top 5, but we didn't want to have too many or any same games, and so
yeah,
I elected to have that on my honorable mentions, but you were going to talk about it anyway.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, Hogwarts was really good. I think I want to play it again because I feel like I was burnt out a little bit when I played. And I was like thinking about goals and getting games done and stuff, and so when I got to the end, I didn't have as positive a reception to the end as you did, but I also hamstrung myself because I didn't upgrade anything, thinking that I would hit level 40 a fair way before the end, but it didn't. And so I was like, I may well have enjoyed this more had I actually used the upgrade system and not done effectively a challenge run.
Right. Yeah, no, the upgrades make a big difference in putting in the traits that match up with the types of spells that you're using really makes a big difference to the combat. Like, it felt very fluid and very quick by the end, where I was just like, bam, 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 Bombardo, Incendio, Defendo, this, that, right? And I liked that the final boss, without spoiling it, right? But it used the various spells that you had learned throughout. It used
mechanics that you have become used to throughout the playthrough, which is good.
It used those, and I felt like it used them well, and the ending sequence did feel climactic, and it felt like it had the impetus behind it, right? Like, it actually, well, something that I will say for it that is to its credit versus some other open world games is it felt like the main story and the side quests, they didn't feel like they were at odds with each other, because it felt like there was a reason why you weren't going after the big bad right away. Yes. I think that in a lot of games it feels very contrived, as to why you're not going after the big bad from the beginning, and you have to go through all these other things, or you feel very much like the world is ending. Let me go get tea with this person over here. Oh, you've lost your teddy bear? Okay, I can pause the end of the world conflict to help you with that, right? Like, yeah. It feels
it's how
weird.
That feels in like Mass Effect or Skyrim or whatever, where it's like, I'm just going to go off and do this entire quest line. Yeah. Oh, the entire population's souls are being sucked out by aliens. Yeah, that's fine.
They'll be fine. We'll get there. It does. It feels weird sometimes when you're going off and doing side quests and stuff, but it did not feel that way in Hogwarts Legacy. It felt very natural that, you're a student in school and you're trying to accomplish this thing, but there's not a ticking clock or a ticking time bomb on it, where it feels like you should really be focusing on that and not other things that you're doing.
Yeah, right? It's like they almost designed the game with you need to wait for certain things, and so it feels like it makes sense for you to fill the time with other stuff.
With other things.
And it wants you to fill your journal, effectively.
Yeah, it wants you to explore and discover things because at the core you are a student who is learning. And so it makes sense for you to go off and do all these side things in order to learn more, so that then when you reach that end point, you are at a place where you've actually learned the things that you need in order to achieve it. So I thought that was quite good. I had a lot of fun with it. You know, again, is it on my top games of all time list? Maybe not, but I had a lot of fun with it this past year, and I think that it's a really good first game for that studio, you know?
Even with the strange controversies.
Yes. Even with the controversies surrounding it, and I don't even want to go into that.
We're not.
We're not. But, you know, for what it was as a game and as part of that universe, you know, it was quite a good experience in my opinion.
Nice. Well, I guess I'm at my number 2, which is Life is Strange True Colors.
Yay.
So I played that one twice this year. For me, it's just the best Life is Strange game. It takes everything that they were trying to accomplish with the other ones and just makes it work better. I like the characters, I like the setting, I like that they're older, because the other games are all teenagers and this is 20s. And it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like a capstone to me of like the franchise. It doesn't feel as, without trying to spoil anything, depressing. Like, yeah, I felt a lot more like hopeful for this game than some of the others in the series. And so, yeah, it's a 5 out of 5. I will play it again because I have it to do on PS5. I'll give myself a few months probably, but it'll be done.
Yep.
But yeah, I liked that there was a good number of choices, and there were different decisions that you could make that had impact in the story. And I just enjoyed it. It was just fun. It wasn't overly complicated.
Yeah, and the LARP section.
Yes. The LARP section is great. It speaks
Yeah.
to my D&D soul.
Yep. So I'm really glad that you enjoyed that one as much, you know, as I did. Because, yeah, I like that one a lot too.
Okay,
Cool.
so what was your number 2?
My number 2 was Horizon Forbidden West. And so this game, it's quite lengthy. It dominated my February, I think. It might have been the only game that I played outside of our co-op game. And so what I remember about it, though, like what sticks with me and why I think this one sticks with me more than something like God of War did, because both of those, and I put those together because it's like they're both very heavily story-driven open world games, right? Where the story is the strength. I think that what sticks with me about Horizon Forbidden West is that I don't remember it feeling tedious.
Right.
Going through the various things. There were lots of things that it asked you to do a couple of them, but didn't ask you to do all of them, which I appreciated. You know, you didn't have to do every single, I think it was ruin where you had to find artifacts, and you didn't have to find every single audio log, and you didn't have to I think there were, I don't think you had to complete all the races. If you did, there were only a few of them. And so I appreciated that very much, that it felt like, you know, it gave you lots of things that you could do, but it didn't force you to do every single instance of everything.
Which I think is rare.
Yeah.
Well, feels rare to
truly,
us.
Truly is, I think, where it doesn't have you do that as part of the platinum or as part of the 100%. You know, where it's like there are things that you can do, but you don't have to do. And you didn't even have to do all of the quests. Like, there were side quests and things that I didn't do for the platinum. And so I appreciated that about it. I really like the world, and I think that's probably what gets me with Horizon more than God of War, is I like the setting more. You know, the Greek mythology and the Norse mythology is really cool, and I can completely understand liking that more, but the sort of primitive / technological world of Horizon, I just really like it. And all of the different
Techno-barbarians.
Yeah, the techno-barbarians. It's vibrant, it's interesting. I like all of the different mechanical creatures that are around. You know, some of them are like dinosaurs, and some of them are like saber-toothed tigers, and, you know, alligators, and various things. And so I really like that. The story, I don't think is as strong in Forbidden West as it was in Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer that story. But they've, you know, firmed up some of the mechanics and everything. I will also say some of the combat still feels a little bit clunky with Horizon. I think it could be better, but it's not anything that detracts from it, in my opinion, or it wasn't for me. Overall, I enjoyed the story. I enjoy the characters. I really love the world. And I thought that the story, it went in a direction that I didn't necessarily expect, but makes perfect sense to me. And I liked the direction that it went. And so I know that I think some people did not. But I liked the direction that it went in. I think that it's an interesting place to take the story. I'll also say I'm really sad. I was really sad this year because the guy who voices Sylens passed away. And
Zavala from
Yeah.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Because I played a ton of Destiny. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes me sad that he's gone.
Yeah, I know. And so it won't be the same, and I don't know what they'll do as they continue the series, if they'll replace him or if they'll use old voice clips, or if they'll kill off Sylens or write him
They
out
may
of it.
AI generate his voice, because that's something
Yeah.
that is being developed, so I guess
Right?
we'll see.
We'll see, but you know, it just makes me sad. You know, someone gone too soon.
Agreed.
But yeah, so that's my number 2. So, number 1,
Number 1.
it was the same for us.
It is Citizen Sleeper.
Citizen Sleeper.
Yes, I understand it's an indie game, and we've got some really big AAA titles. But this is the game that, for me, I enjoyed the most this year.
Mm-hmm.
It had a really good story. I really liked the setting. So you're on a space station, you have a bunch of NPCs that you can interact with, you have a certain number of dice that you use per day to do different abilities, you can do slightly different builds, but at the end of the day it doesn't matter really what one you start with, and you just kind of work through the game, helping different people, and events happen that you have to deal with. I don't want to spoil anything, because the thing is, the story is the thing with Citizen Sleeper.
Yeah.
And so you and I really liked getting to the point where we could become self-sufficient, which is always great in a game where it's like, okay, I'm no longer at risk of destroying myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I can grow my own stuff and make my own things.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and I just think mechanically also, I really liked the dice system. and how that worked with the mechanics, where it was like you never could get to the point where it was game over, but you could get to a point where it would be very slow for you to progress if you weren't doing things well, right?
Well,
And
I did like a little speed run through to get a trophy, and
Mhm.
I didn't look after myself. And you can cripple yourself like easily in that game.
yeah.
So if you allow your condition to drop, it basically
Mhm.
puts a negative on your one of your modifiers, and then you have
Mhm.
to spend a skill point to get that modifier back. I had negatives in 4 of them.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I was like, can I do this? Yep, that's a thing.
Yep. Yeah. So again, it's not a game over, but it makes it, if you aren't playing it right or if you aren't playing it well, then you can definitely make it harder for yourself to progress,
Agreed. Yep.
right? But yeah, the setting was just super interesting. I liked the art style. I liked a lot of the characters, and the writing was quite good, I felt, which is important because it was text based.
Yes.
And so, you aren't getting the benefit of having someone good voice acting your lines, and I find that sometimes a good voice actor can cover up the fact that the writing is not stellar,
Yeah.
because they can sell it when you actually think about that line and you're like, does that make sense? But they
It's like
said
Mark
it with
Hamill
such
playing Luke
conviction.
Skywalker in some of the more
Mhm.
modern movies.
Yeah.
These lines may not make sense, but it's Mark Hamill.
But it's Mark Hamill, and he does a great job with it, right? And I think to like Mass Effect 3, right, is a really good example. It's like there are some really bad lines in that game, but the voice acting is top notch, and so a lot of times you might miss even the fact that some stuff that's said is nonsensical because it's like Hackett that said it, or
Right.
because it's oh my god,
Jennifer Hale?
Jennifer Hale. Yep, that's who I was thinking of.
I knew that's who you were thinking of.
Yep, you just might miss that it's that way. But with Citizen Sleeper, there is no voice acting, and so it relies heavily on the writing of what you're reading to be something that's compelling. And the visuals that you're seeing also, and the music that's playing in the background and that sort of thing, right? And I just thought it was really, really well done. It was different from anything I've ever played before with that dice-based system.
Yep.
Where, you use those dice rolls to then accomplish things that you're trying to do, and the numbers on the dice plus your modifiers. It's just like a tabletop role-playing game,
Yeah.
right? In that sense. But translating that to a video game, I think they did a really, really good job of doing that.
And I'm looking forward to the sequel, and I will play the
Mhm.
DLC when it gets closer to the time that that's going to release.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that was
The Eye, right? The
The Eye.
station. It was fun. It was a fun place, and it was a good time. And I think it speaks to it that we both made top 10 lists, and this was the one that independently, without talking to each other, we both
ended up
picked.
at number 1. Yep.
Yeah. So,
Agreed.
there you go. That is our top games of 2023 that we played in 2023. Obviously, some
That's
of them
our
came out
top.
in 2023. But,
I played 2 games that came out in 2023.
I played
Out of the 74, 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I played Hogwarts Legacy and Cocoon, definitely released this past year, and maybe Toem. Although I feel like it might have released on Xbox this year, because I saw it on some like best of 2023 Xbox stuff. So I think it might have released last year on PlayStation, but this year on Xbox.
I did Hogwarts Legacy and Venba, and that was it.
Oh yeah, I played Venba too, but that did not make my top 10.
No.
Yeah. Even though it was good for what it was.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. All right. So, our goals. Did we meet them?
Did we beat them?
Did we beat them? Did we take them outside and steal their lunch money? How did your goals for this year end up?
So, surprisingly for PlayStation, I made one goal. I was like, what? That was specific to this year, which was have Red Dead Redemption 2 as my 75th platinum. It didn't happen. I did Skyrim instead.
Yep.
So no to the goal on PlayStation. My Xbox goals reach 400 completed games, which I completed on the 22nd of July. Reach
Nice.
450,000 gamer score, which I completed on the 16th of August, and reached 99.7% completion, which got kiboshed by Cyberpunk's DLC being Xbox Series X only, and I went, well, I'm done. So my plans of like pushing through Elex and getting that done this year, I was just like, I'm just not. I'm gonna have a crazy month on PlayStation. By Xbox. See you later. But I did change that goal to 1 million true achievement score, which I did on November 17th. So
Nice.
I did well with my like goals for the year that I did for Xbox. I did not do so well with the goals for the year that I did for PlayStation, but I made lots of other little goals as I went along and completed lots of those. So
yeah. So you did things like certain milestones with certain games.
It was certain milestones
you
with
got to
platinums.
99 games. You got to 99 platinums.
I got 99 platinums.
Yeah.
I have 121 like completed games because of the games that I've done without plats, which is crazy, but
yeah, sweet. So I think all in all, you did very, very well with your goals. Even if you, and I think that it was good that you decided not to do Red Dead 2 for your 75th, because sometimes, and this is a life lesson for all of us, sometimes the things that you think you want and you think will make you happy don't. And so instead of doggedly pursuing them even when they aren't making you happy, sometimes it is better to adjust the goal, which is what you did.
Yeah. I've got to the point where making goals kind of feels like a detriment sometimes.
Yeah, because then it sort of shoehorns you into certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at the moment. I'm very much shoehorned into a corner.
Yeah. And so, trying to make things that are more flexible, perhaps, for next year will be...
What about your goals for 2023?
So my goals for 2023 got smashed and destroyed. So, because I played way more this year than I anticipated I was going to. So, I
Over
wanted
9,000.
Not quite.
Over
but
9.
I wanted... over 9. I wanted to get on Xbox 435,000 gamer score, which I did and bested. I ended the year with 442,597, and so 12,500 more than I had. Is that right? No.
Wait, you ended with
Right.
442,000?
7,500 more than I had.
You're almost within 18,000 of me. I've got to get on and get some more games done.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh no. So that was awesome. My PlayStation specific one, again, like with that 12 platinums at the end of the year, it just took utterly smashed it.
And my
so
19.
I wanted to reach 50 total platinums, which was an increase of 18 over the course of the year, and I ended up with 37 platinums over the course of the year. And so that's double.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But a lot of that extra was in December. And so definitely completed that goal. And then I guess, there was another one for Xbox, which was to play at least 10 games off of Games Pass in order to try to get my money's worth out of it. And I played 18, or I completed 18. I actually played 19. And
Ooh.
This goes into my top games of the year. Kind of, it's related. So I played Starfield this year, but I didn't finish it. And I probably played it for like 40 hours or something like that. But I don't feel like I played enough of it to be able to speak about it. I think you need to complete a game before, at least the main story of a game, before you can really talk about it. And I have not done that with Starfield yet. I got kind of distracted with other games and things. And so, and I wanted to go back to it when I had time to really devote to it. And so, it didn't make my top games of the year, but it probably would if I had finished it this year. Because I really have enjoyed the time that I spent with it. So I completed 18 games on Games Pass, played 19 games on Games Pass, which is great. And so I feel like I got my money's worth out of that service. And then I wanted to do some cleanup as well. So I wanted to play 25 games that were on my backlog of games to complete. And I keep I'm a strange person. So I keep different backlogs. I have a backlog of things that I've bought specifically, and that's what I usually refer to as my backlog. But I also have games that are free games that I got on Games with Gold or PS Plus, games that I want to play that are on Games Pass, or, those kinds of things. And I don't consider those backlog games. I consider those extra games.
Yeah, you
right?
are strange. Because my backlog is any game that I want to play.
Yeah. So, any game.
But you might
that
not be strange, because other people
play.
Might do that, and I'm the strange one that includes everything.
No, I think most people include everything that they have on their backlog, but I feel like, for me, it's like the things that I've bought specifically with my money are the things that I want to play most, right? And
That
I
depends.
want to not have wasted my money on those things, right? That's where it comes down to for me, is that I don't want to waste my money on things that I've purchased specifically, right? If there's a game that's on Games Pass that I miss that goes off of Games Pass, oh well, there's 90,000 other games on Games Pass that I could play.
Right. I would say the only caveat to that is if it was a game that you would have bought, but you got it for free.
Yeah. No, like
the games
that.
this month for PlayStation, A Plague Tale Requiem is on there. That's a game you probably would have bought to play on PlayStation.
Yes.
And so you have that game, even though you didn't buy it.
Right.
I would include that on the I want to play that list. And so that's why having separate lists of I bought this and didn't buy this doesn't always work in my mind, because it's like, well, I would have bought that, but I got it for free. But now that means it's not on my I would have bought list, it's on my not bought list. And I'm just like, it's a whole big bucket. Let's just pour it all in, everyone. Let's go. It's all in there.
No,
Let's mix it all around.
The way that you do it, I think, is normal. The way that I do it is weird. But anyway, I wanted to play 25 games off of my I specifically bought these games to play backlog. And I did 28 of those.
Nice.
By the end of the year. So got some games off of the backlog, plus some of the ones that were on there from PS Plus and Games with Gold, right? Like I did some more than that if you count those games as well. So definitely achieved that goal. And then the last one that I had set is I wanted to complete DLCs for 3 specific games that I had started. I wanted to complete the DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I wanted to complete the last DLC for Resident Evil 6 on the 360. And I wanted to complete the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I had done all of those things by the end of February. So I definitely
That's
got
actually
those
really good
DLCs.
for Resident Evil 6 because we didn't know
Yeah.
about servers or anything.
Exactly.
I forgot. I also made a goal to complete 5 exclusives that I never did.
All right.
on
Yes,
PlayStation.
you erased that from your list.
I didn't. It's still in my logbook. And it still has dates completed and the column's empty.
Oh Lord. So yeah, so I achieved all of my goals that I set for myself this
Well, aren't you
year,
the
and so-
overachiever?
I know. I think I set more general goals. Like the only ones that were super specific
With the DLC
was
ones.
the DLCs
Yeah.
that I wanted to complete. And so because yours were more specific, it was like then it was putting you into that shoehorned box, right? That you didn't want to be in. And so you were like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. And so that's why mine were more accomplishable than yours.
I think also I came up with a lot more goals as I was going through the year. So all of
Yeah.
my like milestones that I hit this year were not really ones I was aiming for specifically because I was like, I don't know how much I'm going to do this year. So like
Right.
I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey's Platinum as my 3000th trophy. Then I got the Platinum for Cyberpunk 2077 as my 3,500. Skyrim is my 75th. My 4,000th trophy was Rise of the Tomb Raider. And then, like, we've almost got to the point where I'm going to get my 4,500th by the amount that we did, well, I did and we did, because, you know, in December,
Yep.
I'm like within touching distance of getting that done. So yeah, I just like I feel like I'm better off maybe, like you said, making less specific goals for the like broad strokes of the year, but coming up with goals closer to the time that I'm going to complete them.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's all well and good to say, oh, I want to do Red Dead 2 as my 75th platinum when you're 25, 30 platinums away from that.
And you haven't even
Right.
started working on it.
And you haven't even started working on it.
Because that's
but-
not a short game.
No, it isn't. And then because it's like you don't know where you're gonna be when that number comes up, right? Like how far through the year you're gonna be, or how many long games you've done, or how burnt out you feel.
Yeah.
You know, and that sort of thing. And so making goals like that too far in advance, I think sometimes it was negative, right? Like it was something that was negative for you, and that you then decided, like, I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
Because that's not what I want to play right now.
So I guess that moves nicely on to goals for 2024.
Indeed.
So
lay them on us.
Okay, Xbox goals, finish my backlog. I have 4 games.
Nice.
Oh, and also, I am now, well, I say I'm now, I'm officially semi-retired from achievement hunting. It's a statement I made on TA, and I was like, I need to do that because my Xbox like backlog is so little that I'm not really going to be playing much. I'll probably play some stuff for fun. I may work towards getting a Series X this year. That's maybe on the cards, but they're expensive. I've just bought PS5 like this quarter?
Yeah,
No, it was
September.
August. It was the end of August.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it was about the last third of the year that I've had my PS5, and I have plenty to play on there.
Yep.
It's just gotten to the point where Xbox is kind of done for me until I get a Series X, and then there'll be other games that I want to play, and that's fine. But
Right.
I'm moving my main focus to PlayStation because I bought a PS5. Platinums are nice. They don't disappear when you get DLC, and I don't have to spend so much money on DLCs because I can just go, I'll play that one, but I don't want to play that one. PlayStation, I would like to earn a total of 150 platinum trophies, so that's an increase of 51 over this year, which is doable if I'm pretty much focusing on PlayStation.
Yep.
I have earned 6,000 trophies, and by that earn 5,000 and 4,500 because they're the milestone ones on PSN profiles. So once you hit 5,000, they up the distance between the milestones to 1,000, which is also something I want to hit because I want to be less. I want to concentrate less on worrying about getting like 500 trophies and not having a plat ready, and because I kind of like having a plat for the milestones because it's another place that you can stick a platinum on the list. And I want to reach 100% completion excluding DLCs, so that means I will need to complete Red Dead Redemption, but that's not specifically saying Red Dead must be this number or that number.
Right.
I do have in my head that I want to do it as my 5,000th trophy, but that gives me a lot of more time to work on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm
And
just
and
approaching.
some wiggle room.
I'm just approaching 4,500, and I'm unlikely to do another December month where I do nearly 500 trophies in a month.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, they're my goals for 2024. I also want to play some more exclusives, but I'm not going to say I want to play 5. I will play some.
Right. At least one.
I would hope more than one at this point. I feel like I'm in a lot better headspace at the beginning of 2024 than I was for 2023. 2023 has been one of the worst years. So I was on antibiotics for the last 3 months of 2023, and I felt like I was half dead.
Yeah.
Like, my mum literally said when I came off the meds, she was like, "You're kind of back to yourself again, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just was not well."
Yeah.
Like, it was crippling. So hopefully I can have a more positive outlook on gaming. And that's also why doing the December month was good, because it gave me something to focus on to get me through that, like, last push to the end of the year to save myself. Kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my goals. And I look forward to seeing whether I can get all of them done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. They sound much more broad and much more flexible.
Well, I took your advice.
And so yeah, so I feel optimistic that you're going to be able to smash those.
I've also made a list. I've got a document of games that I would like to plat in 2024. I've put like 60-something games on there, with the intention that I'm going to do hopefully the majority of them, but I'm obviously not going to try and smash all of them, and I will probably play some more games that are not on that list that I will be buying over the course of 2024.
Yep. Very cool. So my goals for 2024, very similar, I think, in tone, in type, to my goals for 2023. And so it worked last year, and so we're not going to fix something that isn't broken. So I would like to finish off my Xbox paid for backlog of games. So this isn't including Games Pass, and it's not including the games with gold games that are because I've already played all the games with gold games that are those ones that I would have purchased if not for
I will also say on mine that is literally my entire backlog, is those 4 games. Like, I've done everything else.
Yeah. So I do have a bunch of like games with gold games that I'm like, I'll go back and play that when I have time. you know? So I do have some of those, but I have 5 backlog games on my Xbox that I've paid for. And so I would like to finish those 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get to a total of 100 platinums at some point in this year. So that is an increase of 31.
Oh, that's definitely
games.
doable.
Yeah, but I will be spending more time on Xbox than you, I imagine, because I have Games Pass, and another one of my goals this year is to play at least 10 more Games Pass games to get my money from that service. And so
Platinums are easier
so
than 100%, and 30 is, and like 31 is a nice, reasonable number, I think, to hit towards the end of the year for you, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Not like,
I mean,
you'll get it done like
40,
in July.
I did 37 platinums this year, with splitting my time fairly well between Xbox and PlayStation, and so I don't think 31 is an unreasonable number. So I would like to hit 100 platinums at some point during this year. I would like to play a total of 25 games off of my paid for backlog, and I would like to play a couple more specific DLCs. So I don't have too many DLCs that I haven't played on my lists, but there are a few. So there was one for... It's embarrassing to even say the name of this game.
Go on.
But it was a fun game. It was a good game. It's called Boyfriend Dungeon. And it's, it's like a dating simulator mixed with a dungeon crawler.
Of course it is.
It is. And I feel like Boyfriend Dungeon is a misnomer because there are also female and non-binary characters in there.
So is it like Partner Dungeon?
Yeah, it's more like Partner Dungeon. But I feel like
taken out of context sounds awful. Yeah, I want to play Partner Dungeon. What?
But it's a quirky. It's a thing where it's a dungeon crawler and you get these weapons, and the weapons are actually sentient, and so they are people. So they're people that transform into weapons. Right?
So you're objectifying people.
So you're objectifying people. Exactly.
I'm finally going to make my good-for-nothing boyfriend useful and turned him into an axe and beat an ogre to death with him.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, that was it. It was a quirky little game that I played on Games Pass last year, I think 2022, and it had DLC come out for it after it went off of Games Pass, so I was waiting for it to go on a sale. It did go on a sale the end of this year, this past year, and so I want to play that and finish up that game. I want to finish up the DLC for Watch Dogs Legion. I just have one trophy left in it, which is to complete the permadeath mode. Mm-hmm. And I started it, but then I got Hogwarts Legacy, and so I played that, and then it was my 12 days challenge, and so I didn't finish the permadeath run. And so I want to do that and finish up Watch Dogs. And I would like to play the DLC for Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice.
Because, I really enjoyed that game, and I imagine that I will enjoy the DLC as well. I liked the Frozen Wilds DLC for the first one, and so if the Burning Shores is a similar kind of a thing, where it's another area and it continues, part of the story, I think it will be great. So those are the 3 DLCs that I want to try to finish up this year. And I have set myself another little challenge. So this one is a little bit more specific of a thing. So
I was waiting. I was like, are you going to include this or not?
So there are a few games that I have just one or a few achievements or trophies left on, that for whatever reason, because of time or difficulty or just not wanting to focus on it at that moment, I didn't do that I would like to go back and clean up. I did a couple of those this year with Limbo and Titanfall 2, and that was it felt very satisfying to go back and finish those up and to have the game now complete. And so there are a couple of games that I want to do that for this year. And so the 3 that I have for sure that I would like to do is Splosion Man, which I have been slowly working on doing on hardcore mode, which I will say that game is not easy.
No.
It is not an easy game.
I remember listening to you on call playing it, and the frustration and rage were real in certain areas.
Yeah, well, because hardcore mode is you have to go through each level without failing.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
so
no
you can't
checkpoints.
die, or you can't, there's no checkpoints in the level. And so, and some of them are quite challenging because it's platforming, and the platforming mechanics are different, I will say, than other things because you're exploding off of the walls and stuff. And so it's just a little bit different in terms of mechanically. But so that one has been quite the challenge. I'm in the last of 3 worlds at this point. And so it feels like it's doable, but it is hard. So I would like to finish that one off. I would like to finish off getting 5 stars in all of the dances in Dance Central. So I just have the one achievement left to 5-star all of the songs on the hardest difficulty setting, which I have done most of them, but I just kind of stopped doing it after a while, and so I have a few left that I need to finish up. Again, pretty challenging. I mean, it's a dancing game, so for those of us who are not great at dancing, it's challenging. But that is one that I would like to go back and finish. And the last one that I will commit to is Uncharted Drake's Fortune. I would like to go back and finish that up. I have 3 trophies, I think, to do it on, and these are extra trophies. So I do have the platinum in the remaster. But these are the extra trophies for that game, which are completed on Brutal, do a speed run as Donut Drake, and finish the speed run in under like 3 or 4 hours something, right? And so it feels like it's doable. I didn't want to devote the time to it back when I played it originally, which was a long while ago, because that was when I had first gotten my PlayStation 4, and it was just sort of an alternate console for me, and I didn't care as much about having things 100% complete. I was like, I got the platinum, it's fine. But it is something that I feel like I could do and would be probably a good challenge, and so I would like to go back and finish that one up. So, that is my list of goals. I think we have some good ones.
Yeah. I would also like to say, like, as we're getting towards the end, I am really proud of what we've done this year. Like, yeah. We smashed through a bunch of games, but we did a ton of work on our backlogs. Mm-hmm. Like, I got Assassin's Creed done as well, and that was no easy feat with some of those DLCs. And I feel like
Valhalla.
I've put... Yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yep.
Not the original. But it's just like, I feel like we've set ourselves into a good position for this year to like be able to play some new games, work on our PlayStations more, because I know we did a fair amount on PlayStation last year, but like I can focus most of my time on it this year, which will be nice to be like, this is now my main console, what can I actually get done?
Yeah.
And spread it out across the year rather than it being a massive push in December to make the year actually feel worthwhile.
Yeah. No, I think I'm really proud of what we've accomplished too. I think we've done great, like you said, with playing games off our backlog. We didn't purchase too much
in the sales,
during the year. And the things that we did buy tended to be cheaper, shorter, games, right? And that's why, when you hear us talk about like, oh, what were our favorite things we played this year? We didn't play Baldur's Gate 3. We didn't play Alan Wake 2. We didn't play Spider-Man 2. Like, we didn't spend all of this money on these new things when we have all of these games already on our backlogs, right?
Yeah, it has to be something very special for me to go and buy it day one.
Yeah.
It would need to be Elder Scrolls 6 or some other franchise that I'm really invested in.
Right.
Because, like, Red Dead Redemption I bought day one, got 2 trophies in it and went, I don't really feel like I want to do this at the moment. And then 6 years later, I still haven't finished it.
Right, yeah.
Well, 5.
Yeah. Yeah. and so, and with things being so expensive, it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to justify, even though I know I'm going to love Baldur's Gate 3, that it's going to be my jam. I love D&D. I love RPGs. I'm going to love that
jam.
game.
We are playing it together.
Yeah. I know that we're going to like it. I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to love Alan Wake 2. Like, it's a survival horror. I love the first one. It's my jam. I'm going to like it. But I have too many things to play that I also really want to play.
Yeah.
To justify spending that kind of money on something just because it's brand new and shiny, right? Because I feel like even with stuff like Baldur's Gate 3, if we wait a year to play it, we'll have an even better experience playing it, because they'll have fixed bugs and added more content and, this, that, and the other. And so, I don't feel like I'm missing out on stuff by not playing it right when it releases.
And I totally agree. Like, I'm on a way more limited budget than you are. And it's like £70 for a game. I can't justify that amount of money unless it's something really special. When I can buy like 5 other games on sale that I equally want to play, I'm going to buy the 5 because I get through games quite rapidly. That it's like I would like more value for my money. And also, like, I don't want to give some of these AAA companies £70 when sometimes their games aren't great, like Borderlands 3, which we bought day one. We bought the gold edition, I think.
I think we did. It didn't even include all of the DLC.
Nope.
And it wasn't a great game.
Nope. It's burned me buying day one. And no matter what people hype up about games, I'm still not going to buy them day one if I don't have that, like, oh yeah, I really want to play it kind of drive. Because just because someone says Spider-Man 2 is the best game made doesn't mean that is going to be my experience of it.
Right.
Because sometimes people will just say that, all the AAA games are great. And it's like, have you played any indie games? Because you're probably missing out on actually some of the best games. Because, I don't know, modern AAA titles have been very hit and miss for me.
Yeah. And so, it's I think we did a really good job this year of avoiding that trap, of shelling out a bunch of money for brand new AAA titles and then feeling like we had to complete them, and instead focusing on the things that we already bought, and then the smaller purchases that we made throughout the year. Where, I have fewer things on my backlog total this year, and that's including everything, right? I have fewer things on my backlog now than I did at this time last year. And so, I feel like that's progress.
Yeah. Do I have less? On PlayStation? Xbox definitely. Like, I smashed through my backlog to the point where it's almost non-existent. PlayStation, I have 121 completed games, and I have total on my backlog 214. I think it's about the same.
Yeah.
Because I have been good with the
you-
sales this year as to what I've bought.
You've picked out a lot of things from the sales this year, and I've held off on some of the sales stuff just because I didn't want my backlog to increase exponentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas I kind of
and so
looked at it as I'm going to focus on PlayStation predominantly this year, and so I want games because I don't have 100 games in my backlog. I have a bit less.
You want to have choices.
Yeah.
So.
Because we know that having no choice with stuff really isn't something we enjoy.
For sure. Because sometimes if it's like, well, if this is the only game that I have to play, then I guess I'll play it, but that doesn't mean that it's what I want to be playing right now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, having some choice within your backlog is good. That's why I don't ever want to get to the point where I have no backlog.
No.
Right? Of games across systems. I always want to have some stuff in there because then you have that choice, right? So, well, all right. So that is 2023 wrapped up and stuff to look forward to in 2024. I'm excited to get this year off to a good start. I think we're already off to a good start.
We are.
Within this first week here.
Yeah, we've put some good effort in on Demon Souls, which is nice.
Which ticks off one of your things, which is PlayStation exclusive.
Yes. I forgot about that. That counts.
It does.
It's a PlayStation exclusive, everybody.
It is. It's a PlayStation exclusive. I think we forget because the Soul series is mostly on both consoles.
Mostly on both, but yeah, Demon Souls is PlayStation exclusive.
So 2024 is off to a good start, and hopefully we will be able to maintain our momentum. So let us know what you guys thought about gaming in 2023, things that you've played that you enjoyed. I always enjoy seeing the suggestions because that helps me to decide,
and me.
Oh, are people saying that something's good, or are people saying that something wasn't? Seeing what people have enjoyed and what actual real people's experience of something is, and not just the number on Metacritic review site, is really helpful. And what you're excited about coming up this year, what your goals are, whether you maintained or met your goals for 2023, what you want to do in 2024.
And also, we're going to probably change up how we do Ramblings of Mad People in 2024, where we maybe focus a bit less on what we've been doing in detail and have maybe some topics to discuss. So,
yes,
watch this space.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about having a little bit of a revamp of how we're going to be doing this. And, if you have thoughts or feelings about that, let us know that too. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you had a great 2023. I hope that your 2024 is off to a fantastic start. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.